Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Literally What in the year 2025. I cannot believe it. Can you guys believe it? What a crazy year, 2025. It's such an even number, and it's also an odd number. But to me, increments of 5, even, and then 25 is obviously an odd number mathematically. But I am so excited. I have such high hopes for this year. I just have a good feeling about the year. And I'm just open to whatever 2025 brings me and just ready for whatever. But I'm so excited to be back sitting down here with you guys. We have some really great stories to get into, but I hope everyone had an amazing New Year's Eve and New Year's. And if one of your resolutions is to listen to more podcasts, then here you go. We are here every single Saturday and we talk about a lot of, gossip, some hot takes. Sometimes I give advice. Sometimes I just talk your ear off, and we're just here to have a good time every week and kind of, have something outside of the craziness of the world and to talk about other people who maybe are going through it. And so we can focus on those people instead of what's going on in our own lives. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. If you are a new listener, welcome. If you are an old listener, you've been with me for over a year now. I love you so much. And just excited to keep the podcast going this year. If you have not listened before, I did update our theme song and our intro on my YouTube videos. So if you have been listening before and you're like, why does this sound different? We did do a different theme song, a new one for the year 2025. I just thought it would be cute to kind of change it up a little bit. Fresh start, fresh new intro theme song. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I can't tell which one I like more, if I like the old one or this one, but we're going to stick it out for a little bit with this one. And if you're watching on YouTube, which if you didn't know, if you're just listening, I post all of my episodes on YouTube. We have a really cute pink background. Sometimes you'll see a cat trying to ruin the show, and sometimes you'll see a dog trying to get my attention. You really never know what you're going to see on the YouTube. But my sweet husband helped me kind of redo the background of the little podcast studio / cat room. And so this is what we came up with. If you listened a couple weeks ago, I've been decluttering my whole entire house. So this room in particular was my priority. Like, I need to get this done. I need it to look just really good, have all my stuff in here so that I can really focus and put a lot more time and energy into the podcast. That's one of my little goals for the new year, is just to really put a lot more effort. And, it's something that I enjoy and I look forward to doing every single week. And a lot of times I'll just put it on the back burner. But I've been reading this book, You Are a Badass, and it has really motivated and encouraged me to just go for it. And even just people, if you're watching or listening to this, if there's something you want to do and you feel a calling to it, you need to go do it, no matter what people think, no matter if it's going to fail, no matter what is stopping you, any excuses you have, just go do it, because life is short and we need to do things that we enjoy. And one thing that really stuck out to me is we are all different humans. We are all put on this earth for a different purpose. We all are so different and have different talents, and we need to use what was given to us and put that out into the world. So this is your little motivation. If you want to go do something, start something, write a book, run a marathon. If you want to start a podcast, don't let the world or anyone stop you. Just kind of do what makes you happy and what motivates you and what excites you. And this is what excites me. And I don't even care if I suck at this. I enjoy it. And so I'm just going to put it out there. And that book has really, I bought that book, forever ago. And I was doing my decluttering clean out and I saw it and I was like, this is kind of a good little easy read to get into the new year, and it's been amazing. So if you haven't read that book, it's really, really good. But anyways, that's enough rambling, but some housekeeping. If you are new here, definitely go subscribe to the YouTube, because I do, again, upload every single week. I'm on Spotify, and then I'm on Apple Podcasts as well. So go ahead and give that a 5-star review if you are there right now on the app. And then, of course, go follow the Instagram, Literally What, TikTok account, Literally What Podcast. So everything is linked in the descriptions. Also, if this is your first time, if you want to skip to a specific story, or if you just don't really care about anything I have to say, maybe you just want to listen to one thing, maybe you just like listening to me blabber at the beginning of the episodes, I have all the timestamps in my descriptions on Spotify and YouTube and Apple, so you can kind of skip to wherever you want to listen to. Of course, I would love for you to listen to the whole episode, but even for me, when I'm listening to a podcast, sometimes I love when they have timestamps because I can just skip to what I really want to listen to, you know, because sometimes we're just talking about nothing. And, you know, I'm guilty of it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into some hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice that will have you saying, literally what? Okay, first story of 2025, and it is no other than a story that correlates to New Year's Eve and the New Year's Eve show, and that is the Jonas Brothers were performing at the New Year's Rockin' Eve. And first, can I just say, we need to study the people who get there so freaking early at Times Square, because I saw this video, and there were these grown men literally pushing and shoving each other to get to the front of whatever gate, and then it's like, so you're just gonna sit there for hours and hours and hours. You can't go leave to pee. You can't go eat. You can't go drink. Because again, they said there were like 1 million plus people in New York City. I mean, even my claustrophobia right now, I'm like freaking out thinking about having to sit there and just wait. Like, what are you doing? Why do you enjoy doing that? I want to interview all of these people because I don't understand what is pulling them to do this, to get there so early and sit there. And we all know, I mean, I think we've seen the interviews where people say that they wear diapers because you cannot leave. But I just want to know, like, what is pulling them towards sitting there with all these other people? I don't get the appeal. I would much rather pay a ton of money to go stay at some really fancy hotel, or like I was in the comfort of my own home with my husband and my animals and our neighbors shooting off fireworks. So just very interesting to see those videos of people rushing to go sit and stand there. And also, are their phones charged the whole time? Do they get bored? Do they make friends? What's going on? What's going on with that? I really want to know. But anyway, Jonas Brothers, they helped ring in the year 2025, and they celebrated 20 years together as a band. And so just after midnight, Nick, Joe, and Kevin took the stage for a medley of some of the group's biggest hits. And during this highly anticipated performance, the group sang Sucker, Play My Music, and a cover of Dreams by the Cranberries. You guys, first of all, I did not stay up to watch them because they were performing after midnight, and I was ready to go to bed at like 9 p.m. Like, I was tired. I was sitting there, and to my husband, I said, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to stay up another 3 hours for midnight, because the older I get, it's so late. I just want to go to bed, and then I want to wake up and do my thing. But anyway, we stayed up, but then I couldn't wait to stay up for them to perform, so I watched it the next day. But when I saw that they played Play My Music from Camp Rock, I knew this was going to be a good year. I already knew it was going to be a good year, and then it was like Camp Rock, and my childhood self was screaming. What a good song for them to play. They were playing for us. You know, they were playing for the people who grew up watching their old... Do you remember they had a show on Disney Channel? That was a really good show. And that's where I got to love the name Stella. And I wanted to name my car Stella. Her name's Stormy. But anyway, great show. But just a great song. And what great energy to push us into 2025. Okay, this is so funny. I got a reminder. So I've been setting so many reminders for myself. And I saw this girl do a TikTok. And back at the end of 2023, she sat down and asked her future self questions. Here he is, guys, the kitty. Hi, baby. And then she duetted it and answered all the questions at the end of 2024. So I have a reminder to make a video asking myself questions for 2026. So that's what I will be doing after this podcast episode. I wanted to make sure I did the video when I actually looked somewhat decent. But anyway, where was I going with that? Yes, Play My Music, Camp Rock. What a way to start 2025. And so prior to their performance, they also teased some big announcements that will be coming in the new year. And they were being interviewed by Ryan Seacrest, and they said, we've got a ton of announcements coming. The first thing is that we've got a new song with Marshmello on January 17th. And then Nick said, I will be making a comeback to Broadway here next year in a show called The Last 5 Years, which I absolutely can't wait to do. Kevin also shared that they will be going on tour in 2025. Oh my gosh, so fun. And Joe hinted that their New Year's Eve performance will include a lot of songs you'll hear on our next tour, kind of a sneak peek of what's coming, which got my mind kind of doing like, if they played a Camp Rock song, does that mean there's going to be a lot of like Disney Channel vibe songs? Are they going to be bringing that back? I'm I'm excited because I think it was very interesting that they played a camp rock song. That's obviously by them, but it's just interesting. It makes you think, but such a good performance. And I watched it on replay. That and T-Pain's performance, I watched him on replay too, because I want to go to a T-Pain concert so bad because his songs, like, yeah, he agrees. They're just so good. Okay, our next story is about none other than Justin and Hailey. They cannot ever just stay out of the haters' like minds, clearly, because there's always articles and just so much on this poor couple. And listen, I love Justin and Selena. I will always love them, and in a whole other universe wish that they would have gotten together, but they found their people, and it's just not, like, leave them alone now. But of course, people can't leave Justin and Hailey alone. And there was a lot of Instagram story exchanges that got people talking about their relationship. So despite the fact that they just had a new baby together in August, and they do post each other on social media all the time, there, of course, is always rumors about them and marriage troubles and all of that every week, it seems like. So anyway, the Instagram story exchange between Hailey and Justin did have a lot of people confused. Fans on TikTok and Reddit noticed that the singer and Rode founder, aka Justin and Hailey, seem to be arguing with each other via Instagram stories. So let's break down what exactly they were posting, and, you know, let's read into it because I love reading into things. All right, so it all started when Justin Bieber posted on his Instagram story. It was just a close-up selfie of his face, and then the song he added was BED, and then you can pick a part of the song, like whatever lyrics you want to play, like when you're, which, first of all, I can't stand when people have Instagram stories and they add music sometimes, because it's like, so when I'm scrolling, like, I don't really want to hear music, but it'll be like so loud, I'm like, oh my gosh. And anyway, but it was part of the song. It said, I know you want to love, but I just want to F, and girl, you know the deal, I gotta keep it real. So, like, okay, people were just reading into it like, oh, well, he just wants to, like, have sex and not, like, be in love. And that's, I think, overreaching a little bit. Anyway. So I think if that was the only thing that was posted, people wouldn't have read into it because it's just, like, a song and lyrics. But clearly people read into everything that they're posting. But then after that, Hailey posted her own story, like, 20 minutes later. And it was a SZA Kendrick Lamar song, 30 for 30. And the lyrics were, but if it's F me, then F you. So people thought it was like a response because it was almost like a same kind of lyrics. I don't know. Maybe. It's weird, I guess. So then after that story, she posted a photo of her and her friends. They were using her lip products, and they were on a girls' trip basically in the Caribbean over the holidays. And so people thought it was surprising that Hailey was like on a one-on-one girls' trip during the holidays without Justin Bieber. But I don't think that's weird because it's hard, I feel like, to get girlfriends together. And so if they found a time to go, then they probably went when they were all free and available. Plus, she has a kid, so it's probably like, when can, you know, someone help me watch my baby? And like, when is Justin having things and when he's free? So then after that, Justin reposted a video with the caption, co-parenting is failing. Like, TF. It sounds so weird saying TF because that's my initial, TF. And then Hailey posted, this is a song, What Do I Do? Which is basically about finding out that you got cheated on by your significant other. So, I don't know. I think people wouldn't have read into it, except the fact that it was so, like, one person and then the other person, kind of like a one-off, like, she posted, he posted, she posted, he posted kind of vibe. I bet you guys missed my pronouncing really weird things. But then Justin Bieber's dad, people thought he commented on the situation. And he tweeted and deleted it saying, I've never known a parent that said, I wish I didn't have a child. So it could have been a random thought, but the timing is odd. I don't really know. It's just weird. Anyway, so then they responded, I guess. They probably saw all of the hate they were getting, and then he posted a picture of Hailey in a bikini, and he wrote, "Going anywhere with you, baby." And then this was after HAILEY posted a TikTok where it said, like, "You're not well and it's okay. Me to all of you on the internet." Fair. So the only thing I'll say is celebrities know, especially big celebrities like Justin Bieber with such a huge following. I mean, people are going to pick apart everything you do and are posting. And, you know, these people clearly have a lot of free time to dissect this. And I'm sure nothing was going on with them. But, you know, it was interesting to kind of see their exchange between each other. But all good there, per usual. I mean, I wonder what goes through HAILEY's head, because she just, leave her alone, people. Leave her alone. Okay? That's all I'll say. Alrighty. Our next story, Squid Game Season 2 ranks at #1 on Netflix's top 10 series chart in all 93 countries. So, we all know the second season of Squid Games, as expected, had an immediate and massive success. It debuted with 68 million views in just its first 4 days out on Netflix. This was more than any other Netflix series has achieved in its premiere week, and it beat the Wednesday record that was 50.1 million views back in 2022. So I am currently, I think I'm on episode 2 or 3. And when I was first, scrolling on social media after it was released, I saw a lot of people not really enjoying it. They said it was really slow and boring. I personally am loving the season so far. It's definitely slower, which is fine for me because season 1 was crazy, but it's kind of giving a little bit more background on people. It's just, I think, a much easier pace, and you can tell it's definitely setting up for the next season and the end of season 2. I know season 2 ends on a huge cliffhanger. Don't know what it is yet, but I know a lot of people were like, now we need season 3. So fear not, everyone, because the season 3 release date might have been revealed by accident. So we all know season 1 came out, and then we had to wait 3 years for season 2 to come out, which is a very, very long time. But when it finally dropped December 26th, it was only 7 episodes, which people were kind of like upset about. And obviously people were saying it was a little bit more slow than season 1, but it was confirmed ahead of season 2's release that it would also come out with season 3, but season 3 would conclude the whole series. And so the end credits of Squid Game season 2 promised season 3 was coming in 2025, but did not say what date. All we got was the cliffhanger and season 3, 2025. And then basically they were doing some video promotion for Netflix's Korea, and it said that the final episode is slated to drop, or the final episodes, June 27th, 2025. And the video was taken down, obviously, but they were basically just doing promotion for season 3. And then I guess there was something in the background that instead of saying 2025, it had the June 27th date, which is kind of funny, but good for us fans if we're wanting to know when it's coming out. So if they stick to June 27th, basically it's going to ensure that, season 2 and 3, the gap between isn't going to be as crazy as the 3-year gap from season 1 and 2. And it makes sense because when the creator was creating this show, obviously, he said that I'm saying obviously a lot, but it was going to end with season 3, and seasons 2 and 3 were filmed back to back. And he also said that he was finishing edits for the final episode. So everyone kind of knew it was he already had the story of how it was going to end. And it is kind of sad that it's going to end season 3, but it's good to know that he has an ending in his mind. And so I think season 2 is more of an arc between season 1 and 3. But yeah, I'm excited for season 3. I think it's going to be really good. And I'm not even halfway done with season 2, but I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. So we will see what happens. And one thing though, and I don't work in TV or film, but why, if people know, like say we knew obviously season 3 was coming out in 2025 and they have an end date, right? But why do shows not announce when the next season's coming out? Like Tell Me Lies, for example, we know there's a season 3. We don't have a date, but I feel like if you have a date, why would they not share when the date was, and why did they just say a year? Unless the June 27th is fake and they don't have a date yet, because maybe when you're coming out with a new season and say, you have a date in mind, but you don't want to release it because maybe you still have to do some edits or work on something, and then you can't put it out on the date you promised people. So maybe that's part of it. But if you have a pretty set date and everything's done and good to go, why not release? Like, if they had, say it is June 27th, why would they not announce it? Unless it's fake. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting. And I'm kind of glad that if it ends on a big cliffhanger, we won't have to wait a long time. And then we know season 3 will hopefully conclude in a good way, since we know it's the last and final season. So there you go. There you go, everybody. All right. Our next story, a little Olympics news, even though the Olympics was just last year. But we're already talking about Simone Biles. And she says that competing in the 2028 Olympics would be greedy. So let's see what she said about this, because I thought the wording was very interesting that she used the word greedy, but she did a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, and she explained that there is a lot more than a legacy and ambition at stake when deciding whether she's going to continue her career into the 2028 Olympics, which I believe is in LA. Don't quote me on that. But she said that she's accomplished so much, there's almost nothing left to do rather than just be snobby and try again. And for what? I'm at a point in my career where I'm humble enough to know when to be done. Okay. She said, if you go back, you'll be greedy. Those are the consequences, but that's also your decision to decide what sacrifices would be made if I go back now. When you're younger, you have prom and college, but now it's like starting a family and being away from my husband, and what's really worth it. So obviously she's one of the greatest Olympians we've ever seen. She has 11 medals, 7 of them are gold, and she made a comeback at the Paris 2024 Olympics. Obviously got married in 2023. And a lot of people are just, asking if they think she's going to be competing in the 2028 Olympics. So she, I think, is a very blunt person, because I remember she did an interview and she was on Jimmy Fallon, and, people were asking her if she was going to be on the Olympics, and she was like, can I just live kind of vibe. So I don't think me and her would ever be friends or get along, just because blunt personalities are like scare me. But, she definitely, I don't think, is going to give a straight up answer. I don't think she's just going to give the people what they want to hear. I think she's going to make the decision and then decide when she wants to announce. My thing is, though, I think if she enjoys it, now, obviously, if she wants to start a family now and it's going to be too much for her to train for 4 years and then compete again, then of course don't do it. But if she wants to do it, she shouldn't not go back just because of what people are going to think and think of her as greedy, because I don't think that being an amazing gymnast and Olympian makes you a greedy person. Like, you're a legend for a reason, and people love and enjoy watching her compete. So of course people want to know if she's going to be in the the LA Olympics, because she's amazing, and why not go try to get more medals if you can? Like, she's still young. So anyway, I don't think it's necessarily greedy, and I don't think that she should have phrased it in that way. And if she's worried about, taking the opportunity from other people, then they need to step up. You know what I mean? And they'll have more chances to go to the Olympics. And I just think if she doesn't want to and enjoy it, then okay, but don't not go because you don't want to be viewed as greedy. I don't think anyone would think that. I think she's the only one who's putting that on herself. If I saw her go back to the Olympics, I'd never in my head would have been like, she is so greedy. Like, no, she's just good and can go and win some medals. Yeah, so we'll see what she does. Again, just watching her in the Paris Olympics, I knew she was good, but until I watched her perform, I was like, holy crap, she is so, so good. And if you're that good, you should go and compete while you can and win all the medals you can. Because life's too short. Life is too short, people. Okay, next story. We already have some breakup news, and not gonna lie, I was not shocked, but I think a lot of people were shocked. And it's definitely, if you're in the Bravo universe, you've definitely heard of it. If you're not, you still might have heard of it. But Paige and Craig have officially broken up. Summer House star Paige and Craig, who is featured in some Summer House episodes, but he is in the show Southern Charm, which is based in Charleston. I have not seen Southern Charm, but I am an avid Summer House watcher. I binged that show, and now I'm obsessed with it, even though I'm sure this might be the last season, or, you know, they might switch up casting. Anyway, so Paige and Craig, they've been dating for 3+ years. Everyone loved them. They were one of Bravo's best couples, I think. Again, I'm not super Bravo fan. I just watch Summer House and Vanderpump. That's about it. But anyway, so she has a podcast with Hannah Berner, who is a comedian. She was also on Summer House, but she confirmed the Major Life update on December 30th on her podcast, which, first of all, this was not a joint statement. She announced it on the podcast, and then the news broke out by people who were listening to the podcast episode. So that was interesting because he still has not said anything. It's January 4th now, and he has not come out and said anything yet, except take down pictures of him and Paige. But anyway, so on the podcast, she goes, what I did want to say is that Craig and I have decided to no longer be together. Paige said that there wasn't one major thing that caused her split from Craig. She admitted that she wasn't expecting to split from him, but that she's gone through a lot of changes since they first started dating. She said it's weird. It's very weird. I wasn't expecting this. Obviously, when we first started dating, you don't think, oh, what's going to happen? Will we get married? Will we not? You just kind of are in this relationship. And then as you get older, I mean, I started dating Craig when I was 29. I'm 32 now. She said, your 30s for women are really transformative and you change a lot and grow. Him as well. She said, it's not like a situation where I have a 50-part series of who the F was I dating. I love him. I think he loves me. Now, when she said this, that was when I was like, huh? So that was kind of my clue of, I definitely think that she broke up with him by that wording. She said, I think we'll remain friends. No one did anything. I think we were both being mature and just saying what we want and what we didn't want. She said, I think that's extremely powerful to be able to voice how you're feeling and what you want for your future. Okay. I think there's a lot of reading between the lines that can be done with this. If you don't follow them, basically, Paige lives in New York City. She is very close to her parents. Her parents, like, are still together. Picture perfect family. Craig lives in Charleston, and so they do long distance. They've been doing long distance forever, and neither of them wanted to move to either kind of state. And that was kind of like the whole, anytime they have a storyline, it's, from what I've seen, you know, she doesn't want to leave her mom in New York City, and he obviously has a very successful business and life in Charleston. Anyway, I think most people saw this coming, inevitably, unless one of them would have decided, okay, I'll just move to you because I love you and I want to make this work. Because obviously, if you love someone and you want a future with them, you got to make sacrifices. But anyway, he has been very ready to settle down. He always is bringing up the idea of engagement and having kids with her. He just froze his sperm. An episode of Southern Charm came out, and so that was a big headline that he was definitely, you know, thinking about his future. And Paige, I mean, even when she said, like, you know, when you first start dating, you don't think, oh, what's going to happen when we get married? Will we not? You're just kind of doing your own thing. But no, I think when you're dating, you kind of are thinking future. Like, do I want to marry this man? Anyway, she's very go with the flow, doesn't want to settle down, you know, kind of vibe. And I think they just realistically weren't on the same timeline and just weren't willing to make it work. I think what happened, either one or two things. Craig finally said, okay, like, kind of gave her an ultimatum of, like, we need to figure this out. Like, I want to marry you. I love you. We need to, you know, decide. Or he did propose and she said no. I think it was just a matter of how long, you know, Craig was going to kind of let it go on, because I don't see Paige in any world where she was going to finally give in and marry him. And I don't want to say she was stringing him along, but from what I've seen, he has been very upfront with what he wants, and Paige has very much just been like, no, like, I want my own apartment in New York City and keep doing the long distance thing. So anyway, I think Craig will very quickly start a relationship with someone else and get married and settle down very soon. I love this for Paige, though, knowing what she wants and not just kind of being like, okay, fine, like, I'll just settle down and move even though I don't want to, and that's not what I want for my life. So I think it was mature of her. I think, you know, if you just look at it from the beginning, they probably could have figured out it might not have ended up working because they were just on very different wavelengths. It is sad, though, because I know that everyone loved them as a couple, but I wasn't surprised at all because they couldn't make it work, you know? Anyway, But we'll see. It's interesting though, because Summer House premieres in February, and then a new season of Southern Charm, I think, just started. And so obviously I think they're both going to be in the episodes with each other. I don't think this was promo for the shows. I honestly think they broke up a while ago and are just now, or she announced it because he hasn't said anything yet, but I'm interested to see what he says. I honestly don't know if he'll say anything. I think they both knew it wasn't going to work, and she was just the one to kind of finally end it and turn him down, unfortunately. So anyway, let me take a sip of my I Can't Adult Today mug. This is my favorite mug from Target. It's so good because I cannot adult and never will adult. And I am, though, adulting in a way, because normally I drink my coffee, sugar, creamer, so much crap. But recently I've actually been drinking coffee and I just put some brown sugar in it, or I'll just make a pot of coffee and then put like a little bit of creamer. So I'm trying to tone down on all the sugar I put in my coffee, because you don't really know how much sugar you're putting in your coffee until you realize this coffee is literally cream color and white color and doesn't look like coffee. So anyway, we're working on it. This next story, you guys, this devastated me. It's one of those things where you forget about it, and then when it's taken from you, you're like, no, please. But 104.7 The Fish, they have been sold. They are no longer going to be the Kevin and Taylor show. And I am so devastated, because I obviously lived in Atlanta. I listened to this growing up every single day. I was a junior joker twice on the radio show. I met Kevin and Taylor. Like, this was my life, okay? 104.7 The Fish growing up. And if you know, you know. And they did a whole Instagram post announcing they weren't going to be on anymore. And I literally was so sad. Granted, I haven't listened to this in years probably, but it was just such a big part of growing up that it was just like a stab in the heart to know it's not going to be there anymore. But anyway, longtime Atlanta radio program is set to turn its dials down come February. The Fish is being sold along with its fellow radio station owned by Contemporary Christian Music to Educational Media Foundation. And they ended up with an $80 million sale. And so Kevin and Taylor posted on Instagram, and this is what they said. It's with heavy hearts that we tell you our time on The Fish has come to a close on January 31st. We are incredibly honored. We've had the privilege of bringing you good, clean fun and doing life with you for 24 years. I'm 24. So this was on since I was born, you guys. Like, this, I had this my whole life. I didn't know a life before 104.7 The Fish. So many times at radio events, we would meet those of you who grew up listening, and now you have children of your own. That's so rare in radio, and we are so grateful. Thank you for being there as Kevin's kids and Taylor's nieces and nephews grew up, as we both have lost parents, as Griff got married and became a dad. You, our listeners, have been our biggest inspiration. We also want to say a huge thank you to the companies who made this journey possible. We will miss you greatly. We're grateful Christian music will continue on 104.7 and in other cities where you hear us. We've heard nothing but good things about the company who is taking over. Our agent is working hard for us, and we'll keep you posted as to where we land next. So I guess they're going to continue doing their whole Kevin and Taylor thing just somewhere else. But it's just, it was sad. It still won't be there anymore, because it was just so comforting, and it was just a piece of my life that I've just always had. And I don't know, just really sad. I never in my mind would ever have thought, oh, I wonder when this radio station is going to be sold. Like, I always thought I would be like way older and be able to turn it on. And I don't know. Really sad. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Again, I literally don't listen to it anymore, but it's just, you know what I mean? It's just still sad. Okay, you guys, this is our final story. And when I tell you, I have put so much work into researching this, because it's everywhere, and I was getting so annoyed with it that I literally was just like, fine, whatever, I'll just dive in. And I just did a ton of research and was reading all the articles and reading the lawsuits, because I have a feeling this is going to be going on for a long time, and I really want to get down to the bottom of it, and I want this to go to trial, because I want the truth to come to light. And that is the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively drama. I mean, these people have so much time on their hands. The movie was not worth all of this. This is just crazy to me how much is coming out, how much time I'm sure their lawyers, their team, everyone is putting into this, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. If you don't know really what's going on, that's how I felt. There was just so much information. I am here to guide you, and we're going to talk about what's going on in a very concise, easy to understand way. So we're going to talk about it. I will break it down for you, and hopefully you will now be on the same page of what the hell is going on, because this is ridiculous. Okay, so Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, obviously all the drama is playing out very publicly. It started when Blake filed the complaint against Justin on December 20th when she accused him of smear tactics and sexual harassment. So here's kind of where my head was at from the beginning, and this is just proof that these people are doing their jobs correctly. Because when It Ends With Us came out, we all saw Justin was very isolated and not with the whole rest of the cast, and I was very much, you could say, Team Justin, because all the stuff about Blake Lively was coming out about just how she's just a rude person and blah, blah, blah. Well, then when her complaint came out and I was reading through it, and it was about, you know, all the things Justin was doing, and it was just like gross and nasty. And I was like, what is wrong with this guy? Blake, okay? Blake's in the right. Well, then Justin fought back, because December 31st, right before we leaped into the new year 2025, it was craziness. It was literally insane. He filed a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times, okay? And literally minutes after this was filed, Blake and her team were ready, because they immediately filed their own lawsuit in response, suing him for mental pain and anguish, severe emotional distress, and lost wages. So the biggest thing here is we, the public, are, you know, very much these pawns in this back and forth, because you read Blake's complaint and you're like, Team Blake. Then you read Justin's lawsuit and you're like, holy crap, Team Justin. And then it's like a back and forth thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, we won't know exactly what is true and what is not true unless this goes to a trial and there are paper trails and witnesses. And, you know, I think a lot of that will come to light. But I'm trying to stay right now. I'm not picking sides. I'm staying very facts-based, okay? And I'm reading through the lawsuits, and I have just, you know, been reading the facts given to me, right? And taking it with a grain of salt, because obviously a lawsuit that is written by Blake's lawyers and team are going to paint her in a very positive light. And the lawsuit, you know, by Justin and his team are going to make Justin look like a positive, great guy as well. So again, until it goes to trial, I'm taking everything with a grain of salt. And right now I'm team no one. I'm just team please end this, seriously, because this is too much. Okay. So let's get into a little bit. I talked a little bit about what was in the complaint that Blake sent out on December 20th. So go back and listen to that last week to get caught up on what was in that. But in Justin's lawsuit, he is painting a very different picture and basically taking everything that Blake said and what the New York Times was reporting on and being like, this is what actually happened. The New York Times is wrong and Blake Lively and her team is lying kind of vibe. Like literally just taking everything she said and debunking it. So these are some key points that I took out of it. He first connected with Colleen Hoover all the way back in 2019. He read the It Ends With Us book and he went to her and said, I really want to, you know, help with this project and make it into a movie. I really want to shed light on domestic violence. And we know that to be true. He went to her, and obviously him and his company called Wayfair, I think. They secured the deal. They owned the film and they were going to do this project together. And so from 2019, when they secured the deal, everything was going really smooth. And then in 2022, Blake came on board as the lead Lily Bloom. She finally agreed to do it. And then they also wrote her on as an executive producer, which doesn't necessarily mean she is doing anything producer-like. But if you're a really big name in Hollywood and you're in a lead role, you technically are just like written out as an executive producer. And we see that in like every movie. You know, if it's a big actress, it'll be like executive producer, blah, 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 just because, you know, that's how it goes, I guess. So when she agreed. The company, Justin's company, Wayfair, who was running this film and project, they told her, we don't want you to do anything outside of performing and being Lily Bloom. So that was all they asked of her. And in the lawsuit, they basically said that she just kind of took the reins and went and did whatever she wanted, and started to overstep. They said that she was purchasing new wardrobe items without approval. She was demanding the production team go to her to do her fitting. She wouldn't go to the studio. And everything that she was getting for her character was over budget and not what the costume team and costume designers and director had in mind for Lily Bloom's vision, which is weird because everyone has their own jobs and like there's costume designers for a reason. And why is Blake taking over and trying to, and again, this is all alleged, just saying. So that was happening. And this was all within the first week of production. Okay. So I don't know if you guys remember when this movie was first being filmed, the pictures that came out of Blake Lively dressed as Lily Bloom in that like camo jacket looking like a homeless person. Okay. That was what Blake was like wearing for what she wanted Lily Bloom to look like. Okay. And everyone on the internet was hating, being like, this is so awful. This is not what Lily Bloom would wear. Why is this middle-aged woman playing Lily Bloom? It was awful. I remember all this because I was like, why? This does not look like Lily Bloom at all. This is so stupid. So that happened and everyone was criticizing Blake's wardrobe. So this was one of the things that was in the complaint with Blake Lively. She was saying that Justin would go into her dressing room and start just like bawling, crying, and wasting her time, just like basically calling her ugly and all of this stuff and blah, blah, blah. So in his lawsuit, he said that he went in there to discuss the wardrobe choices she was making and talk about how the public was reacting and all the backlash they were getting. And, he was just visibly upset about it. Because again, this was his project. I think a lot of people are forgetting. Like, he went to Colleen because he wanted to do this project with her. So basically, Justin was saying this was about the outfits and the public criticism, not about Blake Lively's looks. And then in Blake's lawsuit, she was saying, he was making inappropriate comments about my appearance. So that was that. And then there was a whole situation that was escalated because Ryan Reynolds got involved. So basically, they were at their New York penthouse, and Ryan Reynolds was confronting Justin, saying that he was fat shaming Blake. And there was a producer from Sony Pictures, and in Justin's lawsuit, he was in the lawsuit. So he said this is what happened and said that he had never seen anyone berate a producer like Ryan did to Justin. So this is interesting because if this did go to trial, I don't think the lawsuit, they would have claimed this if he could be called to testify and not back up what Justin was saying in this lawsuit. You know what I mean? What you'll notice is in Justin's lawsuit, there's a lot of things that either will have a paper trail or will have a witness or there are texts proving why what Blake is saying is false. Just, it's interesting to kind of see. So Blake later claimed that basically Justin made her uncomfortable because he was targeting her weight, but Justin's team was saying that he has some kind of disc going on in his body where he can't really pick up super heavy things. I don't know if this is true. It could be all BS, but he was just saying he was trying to ensure on-set safety because they were supposed to do a scene where he was supposed to lift Blake, and so he was asking what her weight was to see if he could lift her. I don't know. That's just what was said in the lawsuit. And then that got back to Blake Lively, and then she told Ryan, and then Ryan was aggressively berating Justin at a meeting of that. And then apparently in their whole penthouse, there were celebrities walking in and out while Ryan was just like screaming at Justin, supposedly. But I want to know who was walking in and out of that. So then allegedly Blake threatened to quit unless the production team recast her or they could work with her on her terms, which is interesting because you would think it would be like, hey, either you stop sexually harassing me, but it was no, you just need to work on my terms kind of vibe, which I think is interesting. And in the lawsuit, they also said that they speculated Blake would leak something about her being fat shamed in case they did recast her and then it was like, oh, well, she was being fat shamed on set, so that's why she left the show or the movie. And I do remember seeing an article about her being fat shamed. So again, this could all be, we don't know, take it with a grain of salt, but it's kind of interesting to read through. So then Blake claimed that there was no intimacy coordinator on set, and that was a big part of her sexual harassment, about how he was just kind of doing whatever he wanted. But there were texts, okay? He came with receipts and saying that they did have an intimacy coordinator, but Blake did not want to meet with her and said that she trusted Justin, and so Justin went and an intimacy coordinator worked with him through the scenes, and then he was supposed to go back to set and relay the information to Blake on what they were supposed to do. Alleged. So then the one big bombshell complaint from Blake is the accusation that Justin walked into her dressing room without consent. She said in the complaint and lawsuit that he invaded her privacy by entering her makeup trailer uninvited, including when she was breastfeeding. And Justin's legal team refuted this. They showed text messages that suggested Blake invited him in. She texted him, "I'm pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines," to which Justin responded, "Copy, eating with crew and we'll head that way." Okay, so she knew he was coming in. All right, so then, if you remember from last episode, in her whole complaint, they supposedly paused production and Blake had a list of 29 things that had to stop if they wanted to continue filming with her. It was like, I don't even remember. It was a long, long list. Allegedly, in the lawsuit, Justin and his team had never seen or heard of this until her complaint came out on December 20th, and it allegedly was all fabricated and not real. And they never had this whole meeting and paused production. That is crazy, guys. Crazy. But again, it's a he said, she said situation. And then lastly, the lawsuit also alleges that Blake intentionally sidelined him from the It Ends With Us marketing. She refused to let him attend the August premiere, and then made sure that his whole team was treated poorly. They were segregated from the main cast, and him and his family were confined to a different holding area and then were ushered into a different theater after Blake left. And, you know, we're all watching this unfold, which is fun for us. But I think unless it, again, goes to trial, we're not going to know the full truth. If it does go to trial, I think, you know, witnesses are going to be crucial. Paper trails, you know, was Blake trying to kind of overthrow everything and do her own thing? Was Ryan berating Justin? Did Blake know that he was coming in the dressing room? The texts are kind of, you know, alluding to that. But again, we'll see what happens in the future. And Justin's lawyer, this is, if you've seen the video with Justin's lawyer, he seems very much like on top of it and very much like, we're not letting them get away with this. But he said they're releasing every single text between them so people can make their choice based on receipts, and they also plan to sue Blake Lively. So we're still waiting on that because he still hasn't sued Blake Lively. But my goodness, it's crazy, this whole story. And I was getting annoyed with it, but now I'm just like, I haven't even seen the movie. I don't even want to see the movie. I just want to see this play out because I want to know what happens. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated on when he's going to sue Blake Lively, if it goes to trial. It's going to be interesting, you guys. It's going to be interesting. So anyway, that is our show. Those are all the stories for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'm excited for this year. It's going to be a good one. And I just love you guys so much. Make sure, again, to go follow the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. It helps me out so much. And I am so excited to see you guys back here again next week for some more hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice that will have you saying, literally what? Bye, guys.